Monster Rock 3. Why are there two previous versions? What's so special about number 3? Well, it took a little while to nail this one. This is one of the most unique and interesting rock formations I have ever seen. And frankly, it floored me, but it floored me after the fact, after the work had been produced, when I really examined what was going on. So anyway, I shot some video when I was out on location just prior to shooting Monster Rock 3, so let's go to that now. All right, I'm here at a place I call Monster Rock. It's a fantastic megalithic rock that juts up out of the ground and has all these crazy faces in it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little beaten right now. I was just southeast of here a few minutes ago, and I'm trying to get to this location that I've shot at a few times before because I have an idea for this really great shot. And it has been raining and lots of thunderstorms over the last few weeks and lots of flash floods, and a lot of these washes are washed out. And I've already had to cross through 3 very dicey washes in the Land Rover, and I hit a 4th and I turned around. It was really a deep plunge into this wash, soft sand in the wash, and then it would be a very steep rise up out of this wash. And I just had to make the judgment call. I'm guessing maybe 50% chance I would have made it, but I am so far off the beaten path, and if I got stuck, I'd have a long walk out of here. I still haven't replaced my satellite transmitter after losing it in Monument Valley a while back, and I really wish I had it right now because I probably would just go for it. But you know, you got to make those calls. You got to make judgment calls and be safe, because this place will kick your butt. And so rather than chance being stuck out here with probably, I'm guessing, about a 9-mile walk. It's very hot. It's probably 100 degrees or more, and it's middle of the day, and that walk doesn't sound fun. So I'll put it off. You know, you got to make those judgments. There was a kid that died in Zion a few days ago. He fell off a 100-foot cliff on this trail, and I don't know if it was a judgment call situation or if it was just one of those things that snuck up on him. But you know, you can't take this Wild West, this savage territory, for granted, because it'll kick your ass. And you just don't take unnecessary risks. You weigh the ramifications of if things go very badly. And the other thing for me to consider is the fact that there are thunderstorms approaching. So if the Land Rover got stuck in this wash and I had to hike out of here, my Land Rover's in a wash, potentially flash flooded out the hell as the thunderstorm bangs on top of us. So I'm going to go to Monster Rock. I've been meaning to get some new attempts at it for some bigger images, and we'll see if I can knock it out. But kind of feel a little beaten. I have plenty of time. Let's see if I can turn this around. Some days you just got to make those calls. So we'll see what happens. So what I did after I shot that video clip is I wandered around the rock. And what I'll usually do on a location such as this is I'll pick a kind of a perimeter, and I'll move around that perimeter, and I'll watch carefully as I walk. And I'm looking at the light. I'm looking at the shapes and patterns and the angles and composition and whatnot. And what I didn't expect is that the light would become so soft. Monster Rock is perhaps the most unusual and fascinating rock formation I have ever seen. And I have spent more than 30 years traipsing all over the place, photographing wild things, rocks, trees, beautiful vistas and settings, conceptual pieces, and of course, film and television projects. But Monster Rock is special, really special. And what I discovered when I first found Monster Rock was basically this very large protrusion, this sort of megalithic rock jutting straight out of this flat plain, which was interesting enough. And what transpired is I shot the piece, and I took it back and did some post-production work on it. And I noticed as I did so that it looked like faces. It looked like goblins. It looked like monsters. It looked like creatures. Not only their faces and their profiles, but lips, eyebrows, cheeks. Some of these things became so vivid in detail and so obvious that I was overrun by this place. And it wasn't until months and months and months later, late one night, that I was going through some images and I landed on, I think, the second version of Monster Rock. And I really, really analyzed it, and I was just completely floored, because what I was seeing were dozens of these sort of hideous, grotesque faces and whatnot built into this natural rock formation. And I knew at that moment that I was going to have to go back, and I'd been there many times, 12, 13, 14, 15 times, trying to get it when the light was optimum, and it was just very elusive for me. And the reason I needed to go back was I felt I needed to do a stitch. I needed to shoot a lot of multiple images and then combine them in post so the details there, because it needs to be printed really, really large, like 90 inches wide. And the reason for that is it's the kind of piece that you can spend a lifetime observing. You can spend a lifetime perusing the various contours and whatnot of this rock and finding these absolutely amazing contorted, twisted faces and whatnot in the rock. And to do that, it's got to be big. It's got to be very large. And so I knew I had to go back and do this. And I didn't expect the day I shot, which was yesterday, as of this date, Monster Rock. I didn't expect that I would get it that day, because the clouds hadn't quite moved in. It was a little bit harsh. It was a little bit intense. But as I was walking around, the clouds really moved in really, really quickly and gave me that optimum light. And as I did my post-production work, it just popped. And I have to say, and I'll say it again, it is the most unusual rock formation I've ever seen. It's almost unreal that such interesting faces and creatures seem to be embedded within this rock. And one of the very first things I thought about as I finished the piece was, this sounds a lot like the Dene. Dene is Navajo, the Navajo people. Some of their stories of monsters and giants and creatures that were frozen and turned into rock by the Monster Slayer. It's one of their stories, one of the Navajo Native American stories. And it just felt like it, and I could see it, and I could see these faces and images, and I wondered if that's played into that whole the cosmology of those people. At any rate, enough talking and rambling. Monster Rock 3 is the kind of piece that you can spend a lifetime enjoying. And this is really what I love to do, is to produce works that become a huge centerpiece wherein you can enjoy day after day after day. It never tires, because there's so much in it, and there's so much you'll miss. And you'll look at this thing for months and months and months, and then one day, drinking a cup of coffee or whatever it may be, you'll walk past it and you'll see something new you didn't see before. And that's special, and that's really, really rare in nature, to find a location such as Monster Rock.